This is Dumaboko, the president of Botswana, and if you look closely, he's wearing a black suit, white shirt, and more importantly, a red tie. Leaders from other countries like China, Zimbabwe, United States, Croatia, Ghana, Kenya, and all other countries has been photographed wearing the red tie. In fact, studies analyzing political debates found that 68% of the candidates choose ties with a red base color, while blue appeared only around 16% of the time. But why? To understand the tie, we first have to understand the suit itself, because believe it or not, the suit was never originally designed for presidents. Its story begins in the 17th century Europe, specifically during the reign of Louis XIV in France. At the same time, Croatian mercenaries fighting in France wore cloth bands tied around their necks. These neckcloths became fashionable among the French. The French called them the cravats, which eventually evolved into the modern necktie. By the 19th century, the suit and the tie became associated with power, professionalism, and authority. Industrialists wore them, bankers wore them, and eventually politicians adopted them because a suit communicated something powerful: order, discipline, and control. The color of the tie soon became just as important as the suit. In the 1980s and 1990s, a term began appearing in businesses and political culture: the power tie. And the color of the power tie? Red. Red has long been associated with strength, authority, passion, and dominance. Psychological research suggests that people subconsciously associate red clothing with dominance, aggression traits often linked with leadership. In politics, those qualities can be extremely useful. A red tie can signal confidence, strength, command, even before a politician says a single word. And this is why many leaders prefer bold, solid red ties instead of patterned ones, because television cameras love them. Bright colors stand out on the screen, especially against the dark suit. Television changed politics forever, and it also changed how politicians dress. Before TV, candidates could wear almost anything, but once debates began being broadcast, appearance suddenly mattered a lot. For an example, during the 2000 US presidential debates, George W. Bush consistently wore a red tie while debating by Al Gore. 4 years later, candidates again returned to red ties during debates. By 2008, both Barack Obama and McCain wore variations of red ties. If there is one modern politician who turned a red tie into a brand, it's definitely Donald Trump. Trump's ties became instantly recognizable: long, pause, bright, and almost always red. But here's where things get interesting, because despite the popularity of red ties, research suggests that people may not actually influence voters as much as people think. In experiments where viewers watch political speeches with altered tie colors, participants rooted politicians almost the same regardless of whether the tie was red or blue. The famous power tie effect might actually be a myth, but then why do politicians keep wearing them? If it's a myth, that's a question. Because politics isn't just about logic, it's about symbols. Red communicates energy, agency, and authority. Blue communicates calm, trust, and stability. This is why many presidents alternate between red and blue ties depending on the message they want to send. Red for strong speeches, blue for calm leadership moments, and sometimes purple to symbolize unity. Over time, that simple piece of fabric became part of the global uniform of leadership. From Croatia to France to United States of America to Europe to Asia to Africa, a black suit and a red tie quietly became the unofficial dress code of power. Next time you watch a presidential speech or an election debate, look carefully because behind the podium, behind the microphones, and behind the speeches, you might notice that same red tie again and again and again.